Good day, it is I, Lord Mary Penderbush, yeah, welcome to this week's highlights video. Literally haven't thought of anything at all to say for the intro, so yeah, excuse the Christmas decorations. I know it's a bit early, I know some people are funny about that, but we've got limited opportunities to get this shit up for this year, so yeah. Anyway, actually, let me fucking own it. I fucking love Christmas decorations. Hate taking them down, but anyway. If you want to come and join us, there's reasons over there, and there's a Discord link below if you want to come and get involved with some racing that's just about as slick as this intro was. But yeah, for now, let's crack on with this week's highlights. Hello then, and welcome to the cutting edge of in-game water physics. I've heard many a person say it's between this and Assassin's Creed Black Flag for the best water physics you will see. My vote goes to iRacing. Just look at the way it is stuck on there like a fucking picture. Anyway, that's 20 seconds wasted. Welcome to Evolution Sim Racing round 20. We are in the Lotus 79, a tricky little blighter. We are at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, also known as Montreal in Canada. Let's take a look at the grid then. Well, Ricky Worrell, he is looking fucking menace in this, or a fucking weapon. Anyway, fucking, he's in first place. Into the 25s, Jeff Sharp nearly 4/10 back. Then it's Will Thomas with Lord Penderbury alongside him. Steve Everson qualifies pole in the AM category and 5th overall with Chris Hulse alongside. 4th row of the grid is made up of Jamie Nicholson, and returning to the series for the first time in a long time, James Hurlow. We then have Josh Levy, Brian Dodd, and rounding out the field, Josh Morris. Well, we are ready to rumble. Engine notes rise. And off they go. Looks like a decent start for pole sitter Ricky Worrell. Will Thomas alongside Jeff Sharp goes up the inside. That's Worrell who spun round in the Nigel Mansell livery. That is a bold claim from someone that can't get it stopped for the first corner. He cuts across that opening corner. A few people caught up in that. You can see that Jeff Sharp is all the way down at the bottom of the grid. Who else got involved in that? Well, it was mainly Worrell. I think Everson has dropped down as well. Yeah, indeed he has. He is in 10th. Generally, though, it has been a pretty clean start, which wasn't necessarily what we were expecting in this one. There is good old Nige, looking to recover. Tell you what, we need to get off of this race director because he's useless. Goes around the outside of Brian Dodd. Nearly a little bit of front wing to right rear contact there, but nothing happens. Real winners from that, well, basically anybody that's ahead of Ricky Worrell and Jeff Sharp after everything that went on there. Will Thomas up from 3rd on the grid into 1st place. Lord Penderbury goes up 2 positions into 2nd as well. Nice little angle as we go through. Wall of Champions. Everyone giving that a wide berth on the opening lap. Takes a couple of laps to get the tyres warm on these things. Or at least 50 bloody minutes. Already on to the 2nd lap we go. Nige is coming up on his next potential victim. That is the car of Jamie Nicholson. Tricky section to overtake on through here. You see the track map on the right hand side. The main overtaking points, that big long straight from the hairpin. Rather bulbous hairpin, but a hairpin nonetheless. I have had it authorised from Dan Slattery. As we all know, he is the authority on hairpins. Anyway, Ricky Worrell has got past Jamie Nicholson. And he's looking to double up and take on Chris Hulse. Gets it stopped. Chris Hulse looking for the switchback. Is he? Not quite. Looks like Jeff Sharp is starting to make waves as well. Wow, bloody hell, there's a gaggle of cars here, isn't there? Steaming it down towards the chicane they go. Sharp taking a look to the inside. Oh, is he going to send it from that far back? I don't think he is. would have been a brave move. Looks to the inside going into turn 1 though. Oh, who was that in the foreground? Josh Morris tumbles down the grid. And it looks like Steve Everson has had an accident as well. As ever, we will go back and recap on what has happened. Oh, looks to the inside there, does Jeff Sharp on James Hurlow. Good to see James back in the series. Tell you what, he's picked a hell of a week to come back though. So, taking a look back at the start then. And front lot get a fairly decent getaway other than Pendlebury. He drops back a little bit, but look ahead. There is Ricky Worrell. Spins round. Thomas just about keeps out his way, but then almost in symmetry, Jeff Sharp and Steve Everson spinning round. Steve Everson gets going, but Jeff Sharp doesn't. So, taking a look back now at this excellent four-way battle between Hurlow, Levy, Sharp. No. Morris, Hurlow, Levy, Sharp. Who's that on the front? There it is. So, yeah, Morris, Hurlow, Sharp, Levy now, because whilst I was getting confused, Jeff Sharp pulls out, makes an excellent move on Josh Levy. Up to 9th place. Before we head back to live, just had this replay come in as well. Brian Dodd in the second corner. Just locks up, straight on he goes onto the grass. That allows Sharp, Hurlow and Levy through, but Levy also went wide there, which enabled Hurlow to get through. So he's back up to 7th, Levy back down to 8th, and Brian Dodd back down to 9th, and that is Steve Everson, who is closing in on him. Joining this battle live then, Dodd and Everson, but it also looks like things are heating up between Hurlow and Levy again. There they are, going through the foreground. Down to the hairpin they go. Then lock up there from Levy. Oh, and that's Hurlow. He's gone round, keeps it out the barriers, but that lets Levy through, Dodd through, Everson through. Josh Morris is way back though, so he won't lose that position. Take a look back to the Everson and Dodd battle. Now battling over 8th place. I'll tell you what, things looking like they're getting close up the front. That is Pendlebury in 2nd and Worrell right up behind him, and he's all over the back of him, and well, Pendlebury just pulls off to the side there, says you can have it. Up into 2nd place from Worrell, has recovered from that first corner spin very well, and he will start hunting down Will Thomas. He's 3.3 seconds up the road. Back to the Dodd and Everson battle, which is very close as well. Everson looks to the inside. Not quite alongside there. Oh, that's Dodd running wide. And you can see there, oh, and he's lost the gears by the sounds of it. Finds them now, but Everson has made it through. He's up to 8th place, 2.5 seconds to Josh Levy. That'll be his next target. Jeff Sharp looks like he's closing in on Chris Hulse as we speak. There he is. See if he's a potential Helmet of the Week candidate. Almost certainly. Didn't need to check. Lovely sounding vehicles. These Lotus 79's enjoyable to watch, enjoyable to listen, less enjoyable to drive, I think some of our competitors have found this evening. Sound like I'm concluding it. That's Jeff Sharp going through. I always seem to get sidetracked by talking about inane shit, to be honest, just as Jeff Sharp's making an overtake. But that is another overtake. Spun in sympathy, you'll recall, when Ricky Worrell went round. But he is climbing his way back up the order. That's 5th. He's 6 seconds off the back of Jamie Nicholson now. Well, we've gone back through the archives, found the replay, and that is Josh Levy on the power a bit too early. Gets all crossed up, saves it well, but it kills all of his momentum, and Everson is then through. And whilst we're looking at replays, this one has just come in. James Hurlow clobbers that second curb at Wall of Champions a little bit too much and sends him into the Wall of Champions. And oh blimey, you can see there, wheels are pointing in the wrong direction. Well, let's just check in with Jeff Sharp again. Still not moving. Well over half distance at this stage, and Ricky Worrell has been closing that gap. Good old Nige has been doing well. Just half a second back to Will Thomas. You can see everyone else, there's some gaps between most. Jeff Sharp also closing that gap to Jamie Nicholson, just 2.1 seconds back at this point. But this is the closest battle on track as it stands. Across the line they go. What can Nige do? Oh, he's all a bit crossed up there, Will Thomas. Oh, and there's contact. Nigel won't be happy with that. Well, replay just in. That is Jeff Sharp. Only 1.6 seconds back to Jamie Nicholson, but Nicholson nearly loses it there. But it's enough to kill his momentum. Jeff Sharp goes through it up into 4th place. I think we'll end this replay here, and I can ponder why I use the word momentum so much these days in these replays. Well, here is Josh Levy spaffing it into the wall. Well, it's been a while. Let's have a quick look at Jeff Sharp. Still there, struggling to get going. Well, here they are again. Hulse and Everson, seemingly inseparable. Oof. Hulse cutting it close to the wall there. Everson's going to have a look up the inside, thinks about it, but can't quite get the job done. After it all, Hulse skids along the sausage curbs there, and that gives Everson a run down the main straight. Into turn 1 they go, but Everson gets the job done before they get there. Well, down the main straight they come for the final time. The main straight, the long straight for the final time. Here's the main straight, and that is Ricky Worrell. Nigel Mansell takes the victory, just 0.4 of a second ahead of Will Thomas at the end. Oh, and that's Will Thomas doing some dancing. We're also aware of this battle. Oh, that's Everson going. Oh, they've got into each other. Everson and Hulse desperately fighting for 6th place, and has Hulse gone round again? Oh, he has. Oh, excellent stuff there. Ice running through the veins of these two as they try and complete the race. Well then, let's take another look at this. Around the hairpin they go, and Everson is the first to go. Locks up, then Hulse just follows him in. And then Hulse tries to get on the power, and well, it sounds like he was on the revs, then found a gear, and then just spun round again. Anyway, let's cross to a scenic camera and have a look at those results. Round 19 then, Ricky Worrell the winner, only by 0.4 of a second to Will Thomas. Lord Pendlebury a long way back 14 seconds back in fact, but he takes third place in the final step of the podium. Now we are only 2 rounds sort of, well, after this race we're only 3 races from the end of the season, and this is big for the season because Ricky Worrell, Will Thomas and Mark Pendlebury all very close behind Jeff Sharp, but Jeff Sharp is the leader in the championship. However, you can see there he finished in 4th place. That means they are all closing the gap on him. We then have Jamie Nicholson in 5th, and now we have an exclusively AM category run to the end. Steve Everson takes 1st in category and 6th overall, Chris Hulse 2nd, and Brian Dodd in 3rd. Josh Levy was in 9th, and Josh Morris in 10th overall, and 4th and 5th in category. We will take a very short break and then come back for highlights of the feature race. Well, it's been that long now that, as you can see here, the Google Street View car has picked him up, still sat by the barriers. Hello then, and welcome back for the feature race. Gotta get my teeth in. We are still in Montreal, track temp of 24 degrees, slightly warmer than in the first race. Let's see how that plays out. Guess that livery time. That is Josh Levy starting on the front row of the grid with Brian Dodd alongside. We then have Chris Hulse in P3 with Steve Everson in P4. P5 is Jamie Nicholson with a green car alongside him. Who is that? Dan Slattery? No, did Dan Slattery race in this? I don't know. Sorry, green car. Oh, it's James Hurlow, I believe. Could it be James Hurlow? Possibly. Who knows? Will Thomas is there next. Then it's Lord Pendlebury. And championship leader at the back, Jeff Sharp. Now, I think if I just hit play, all shit's going to go loose. So let's quickly switch to the race setup. Let's get rid of that. And go, go, go! Oh, that's the wrong camera. Well, it wasn't. Oh, I thought I had less time than I did. Oh well, let's crack on. Off they go. And tell you what, that is a start from Chris Hulse there. He is already into 1st place on the outside of Josh Levy. Levy's almost loses it. 3 wide towards the back there. Everyone got a fairly decent start. Is that someone tumbling down the order at the back there? Potentially, hard to say. Oh, Josh Levy almost gets his nose cut off there. Oh, Will Thomas all over the place. There he is. Oh, that is Josh Levy running out wide. There is Jeff Sharp. Oh, that's Pendlebury getting all over the show. Jeff Sharp taking a look to the outside of Lord Pendlebury. Ricky Worrell looking very close. Oh, it's Ricky Worrell in the group. Of course it is. Good old Nige. Full disclosure, it's been nearly a week since I've recorded the first set of highlights for this, so that's why that's going on. Now down this long straight, Chris Hulse looking to come back at him. Looks like there has been some drama towards the back. Jamie Nicholson being towed back to the pits. Oh, Steve Everson clattering the curbs at Wall of Champions. But Ricky Worrell, an absolute beast in this machine, leads the way, and you have to say, if he can break that toe and stretch his legs, he's got a decent chance here. Right, let's go back and take a look at some of that drama. Well, looking down from the blimp then, and absolutely mega starts from that second row. Hulse and Everson beast their way into that front line. And then everything starts to get a little bit congested through the first and second corners, but everyone gets through largely unfazed, other than Josh Levy. Oh no, you're Josh Levy. Brian Dodd, I should say. Well, here's what happened to Jamie Nicholson, and just loses it, goes to the barriers, it fires him back across, and then Pendlebury absolutely launches him, and you can see there Pendlebury's car very much damaged, and that is going to be disastrous for his championship hopes. Second feature race in a row, he has been absolutely obliterated through no fault of his own, he would like to point out. But yes, not good for him. Another trying to battle through the pack race ahead. Well, back to the live action then, and we have the battle between Hulse, Everson and Jeff Sharp. That is the battle for second place. You can see Ricky Worrell has really opened up a gap there. 5.78 seconds, it's just continuously increasing. Now towards the hairpin they go. You'll remember from the first race, this is where Hulse and Everson did some synchronised spinning. No such manoeuvres this time round. Hulse goes defensive. Everson later on the brakes though, but can't find a way around. It is a tricky place to get your overtakes done there. And I'll tell you what, that is putting Jeff Sharp right on the back of him as they come across the start-finish line. On the grass is Everson. Manages to get it stopped in time though. Oh, and you can see the skid marks in the background there. Everson has lit up his rears. That has allowed Jeff Sharp through. Up into the podium positions already for Sharp. Here is Sharp still, closing that gap to Chris Hulse. Oh, Hulse almost spins it round there, but he's lost a lot of momentum. And Sharp is going to be right on him. Is he going to defend? He decides against it. Up to the chicane. There you go. And Jeff Sharp makes it through. Good stuff as far as he is concerned. That is P2. And two of his key competitors in the championship at this stage, Will Thomas and Lord Pendlebury, in 6th and 8th respectively. The only person who's still in with a shout of the overall championship is Ricky Worrell, and he is 12 seconds up the road. Let's see if Sharp can do anything about that. Well, here we join the battle between Josh Levy, Will Thomas and Brian Dodd. No, not Brian Dodd. Oh, that's Levy that's gone round. That is a shame. Having to do the old 3-point turn to get going again. That promotes Will Thomas up into 5th place. I'll tell you what, these two are inseparable. Hulse and Everson had a lot of close battles over the last few races. Hulse goes a little bit defensive. Short shifts there to try and keep the windscreen, the wheel spin, under control, but it costs him, Jesus Christ, costs him momentum as they come out of there, and you can see Everson goes through, but Hulse fighting back. They're side by side. That's a big hit on the curb. Side by side again they go. I'm not sure what's happened there to Steve Everson. Did he get a slowdown perhaps? Not sure. Well, so enjoyable was that little battle. We're going to see it twice. So Steve Everson gets better drive out of the hairpin, and he's through and past Hulse, but almost to his detriment there, because Hulse can pull in, get the slipstream again. Up to the chicane they go, and we'll get a better look here. And no, Hulse around there, and oh no, Everson just lights up the rear tyres, trying to capitalise on Hulse's poor line through that chicane. So, for the moment at least, Hulse hangs on to P3, but Everson clearly got some pace there. I'm sure he'll close him down again. Well, just call me Mystic Mary Pendlebush, because that is Everson, and he has closed that gap down again. Let's see what his drive is like out of the hairpin. Not very good. Too much drive, spins it round, and, well, a gap that was half a second is now more than that. Also loses a position to Will Thomas, thanks to that spin, so that drops him down to 5th place. Will Thomas is up to 4th, and he's only 3 seconds back from Chris Hulse. Well, as suspected then, we've got Will Thomas closing that gap to Chris Hulse in 3rd place. That's Jamie Nicholson. He has been dragging around behind him as well. And, oh, blimey, that was very close. Goes in for his pit stop here. But that looked awfully close to the back of Chris Hulse. Here is Chris Hulse. He is still alive, but yeah, let's go and see what that looked like. Well, here we are then, part of Chris Hulse's rear end. And, there he goes. Will Thomas straight into the pit lane. Close that gap. Looks to get the early stop and undercut him. Well, let's take a look in at the graphic in the top left, and I say let's take a look at the graphic in the top left, but no, I cannot find the pit stops. There it is. Let's have a look and see. Yes, everybody's done their pit stops now. Lord Pendlebury, who is apparently most exciting according to iRacing at the moment, he has just jumped Brian Dodd. He's on a 2-stop strategy after that early collision with Jamie Nicholson. Jamie Nicholson going for the lesser spotted 3-stop strategy. Not panning out for him though, he's in last. But you can see in amongst all of that, Will Thomas has jumped Chris Hulse in the pits. Well worked for him. Ricky Worrell has done nothing but extend his lead, 21.5 seconds, which, in fairness, I think was about the lead he threw away at Road Atlanta that time in the pit stops. But good news for him, he's already gone through the pits and he didn't cock it up. So, yes, he's leading the way. Jeff Sharp, as we've said, 21.5 seconds back. Will Thomas then 8.5 seconds back from Jeff Sharp. He will be pleased with that, given where he was earlier in the race. Important for the championship for him to, if he can't beat him, be at least right behind Jeff Sharp. We then have Chris Hulse. He's in 4th, leader of the AM category, with Steve Everson and Josh Levy in 2nd and 3rd behind him, and 5th and 6th overall. Lord Pendlebury 14.5 seconds back from Josh Levy. As we've said, just came out ahead of Brian Dodd in the pits there, in the pit stops there, and then Jamie Nicholson 37 seconds back in 9th. Well, here's Lord Pendlebury. You can see in the foreground Josh Levy going through. He's been driving like a man possessed. It's only 2 odd seconds behind. Oh, but he's gone round and into the barriers. Backwards he goes. It picked up a little bit of rear damage there, though it doesn't look like the car is too badly affected. He has, however, dropped back to 6.7 seconds behind Josh Levy now. Well, this replay's just come in. There's the slightly bent rear wing of Lord Pendlebury going around through the World Champions, and you see his rear end gets a bit loose, and into the barriers he goes, and he's only just gone past the pit entry. Well, here he is. Good old Nige. It has been a truly fantastic evening's racing for Ricky Worrell. Wins the first race, I think. Can't remember that far back now. And here he is approaching the chicane for the last time, taking it nice and easy. Very easy, in fact. Crosses the line, and that is to take his second win of the evening. Very nicely done there from Ricky Worrell. Jeff Sharp, we can see there he is a fair way back. 25 odd seconds, in fact. Josh Levy crosses the line in 6th. He was a lap down. Brian Dodd will do likewise, as will Jamie Nicholson. Will Thomas will cross the line for 3rd. And let's find a nice scenic camera and take a look at those results. Well, there we have it then. Ricky Worrell, he comes across the line in 1st place with Jeff Sharp in 2nd, 22.5 seconds back. Will Thomas was then 30 seconds behind Mr. Worrell in 3rd. We then have Chris Hulse, winner of the AM category, with Steve Everson, Josh Levy and Brian Dodd in 2nd, 3rd and 4th in the AM category, and 5th, 6th and 7th overall. We then have Jamie Nicholson. He came through in 8th, and then Lord Penderbury retired from the race. Still gets those points for 9th place though, but one to forget for him. We will now take a look at the overall standings. Well, I'm slightly pressed for time, so we're just going to do it this way for this week. So, leading the way is Chris Hulse, 438 points to Steve Everson's 328. That is a lead of 110 points. We already knew it, but he has won the AM Championship. But the race for 2nd is certainly on with 2 races to go. Chris Palmer just 3 points back from Steve Everson. We then have Brian Dodd on 183 points. He's in 4th place. Josh Levy, though, has been closing that gap. He is on 172. Just 1 point behind Josh Morris in the battle for Josh Prime. Paul Nicholson's then in 7th place on 156 with Anthony Marriott on 104. Axel Edwards is in 9th on 52 points and Travis Dorado is in 10th on 27. We will then head across to the pro standings. Jeff Sharp, a 15-point lead on Will Thomas, 345 points for Will Thomas, 360 for Jeff Sharp. Lord Penderbury just 1 point back on 344, with Ricky Worrell in 4th on 335. We then have Jamie Nicholson on 235 points in 5th, and Dan Slattery on 197 in 6th. Martin Rigby is then in 7th on 56 points, Nelson Verdier in 8th on 36 points, and James Hurlow in 9th on 8 points. And finally, the overall standings then. Jeff Sharp, a 20-point lead going into the final 2 rounds of the season. 327 points for him, 307 points for Will Thomas. 2 points back is Lord Mary Pendlebush, 305 points for him. And Ricky Worrell on 294 points. It's worth pointing out, in both the overall and in the pro standings, any one of 4 drivers could still win this going into the final 2 rounds of the season. So exciting stuff there. We then have Jamie Nicholson on 184 points in 5th, with Steve Everson just 5 points back in 6th on 179. Then Chris Hulse is 6 points back in 7th. And then Chris Palmer in 8th on 153. Dan Slattery is then on 122 points, with Anthony Marriott rounding out that top 10 on 62. Josh Morris 1 point back in 11th, with Brian Dodd on 44 in 12th. Paul Nicholson is then in 13th on 40 points, with Josh Levy on 14th on 36 points. Martin Rigby is then in 15th on 28, with Nelson Verdier in 16th on 16. Axel Edwards is in 17th on 13, Travis Dorado in 18th on 10, and James Hurlow in 19th on 1. Well, thank you very much for watching. This has been probably a bit of a shit show, to be honest, but yeah, next week, final 2 races of the season. We are at Phillip Island, Melbourne, Australia, in the Toyota GR86s. Close racing is almost a guarantee, so join us then. But for now, we will catch you later.